Today we're doing a natural men's makeup look using some of the new products that were sent to me. By the way, I'm Matis, I make men's beauty content, and today's video is a Matis Uncut episode, which means there will be minimal editing so we can relax and catch up. We're gonna start with some skincare. Tirte recently sent me some beautiful products, one of them being this milky toner that I've been using pretty much every day. I really love the consistency. It's lightweight, it's very liquidy, but it has a little bit of viscosity to it. I don't like when a milky toner isn't really milky at all. This one has that slightly viscous, almost slightly, it's not a serum by any means. It's not gel-like by any means, but it has a little bit of that thickness to it, even though it's very lightweight and really liquidy. So yeah, I really have been loving this. It just gives a nice layer of hydration to the skin. And then I'm gonna follow it up with a Beauty of Joseon product. I love the Beauty of Joseon sunscreens. This one is, I'm not sure if it's a new one, but it's called the Ginseng Moist Sun Serum. Only used this one time so far. So most of the products I'm talking about, they will be quite new to me. But this one I used today. It comes out as a gel-like sort of consistency. And I think this gives quite a bit of a glow to the skin, which I'm not opposed to. I feel like my skin has been getting more balanced these days. It's not quite as oily as it used to be. And this one gives quite a nice glow and shine to the skin. If you, however, are more on the oily side, I would still stick with their classics, which are the Relief SPF. So there's the Aqua Fresh, which is just the best if you have really oily skin, and the original Relief Rice and Probiotics if you have combination to slightly dry leaning skin. But both of these are brilliant for if you want a sunscreen that just doesn't feel like a sunscreen at all, that just feels like nothing on the skin. And if you're like a little bit more shine, a little bit more hydration, wow, I'm looking very glowy. On camera, I have to say I always go matte, so we'll see how this one turns out, because definitely applied with quite a bit of shine, the Ginseng Moist Serum. But yeah, I think we might have to set it down with some powder. But yeah, just so you can see the effect it gives, it does give a very nice glow to the skin. And then I'm going to use a NYX product. And NYX, I have to say, I just went to Pride with NYX here in Vienna, which was so incredibly exciting. The first time that I went to Pride with a brand. But yeah, we went to NYX, we were on the truck all day long. It was so exciting. We met lots of other influencers. Some of them I already know from just living in Vienna and from going to some of these events. And yeah, it's really exciting because you have to remember, I'm still quite new to all of this. I pretty much started doing social media a little bit over a year ago, and I'm still sort of in the growth process. So all of these events, it's still something that's new to me, and meeting influencers and working with brands, it's still quite new to me. And yeah, this is a product by NYX. I am not sponsored for any of the products I mentioned. These are just some of the products they sent me for Pride. So I just wanted to use some of them in this video because they are new to me. But yeah, this one is called the Face Glue. Essentially looks literally like a bottle of super glue, which is fun. And I don't know much about this. I heard that it's great. I heard that it's like a gripping primer type product. Comes out, yeah, almost feels glue-like, or rather like a glue that's not set down yet. But it also feels quite hydrating. It doesn't feel like, it feels a little bit silicone-y, but not like one of those really dry silicone primers. I might have applied quite a bit too much, but we're just gonna melt it into the skin. I'm also gonna put a little bit of this onto my lids because I'm not really planning to use an eyeshadow primer, but I do want to use some eyeshadow to contour my eyes. So let's see if this does the trick. And I'm really gonna just move it all over, blend it into the skin. And yeah, this is, like I said, another Matis Uncut. So I'm gonna try to not really cut too much. And maybe we can also catch up a bit about, I don't know, how we're feeling. I know that the news and everything has been troubling. There's lots going on in the world, as always, but yeah, it feels like recently things have really been quite intense. And yeah, I just wanted to check in with you. How are you feeling? I think something that gives me a lot of hope is that I saw this video earlier, and I've had this quite a few times now, and it really is quite a soothing thought, which is that there's this sort of pendulum that sometimes swings far right and then it goes the other way again. But on the whole, we as a society are getting more progressive, and that's what really gives me hope. Yes, it's a tough time right now for some people, more tough than others. The pendulum at some point will swing the other way and things will look up again. Yeah, let's stick together. Let's really create community and really love each other and lift each other up. One of the things that has been also giving me a lot of hope is that people are speaking up. Something like social media is still relatively new in the history of the world, and something like this we didn't have before. So now we're able to see the truth. We're able to see so many different opinions. We're able to see people suffering, and we're able to empathize with them. And that's so great, because I feel like there's so many people that are really able to speak up now, because it's easier than ever before to take in information, to seek out information, and that also gives me a lot of hope. And I feel like myself, I've learned so much through social media and through seeing people's lives and perspectives, and it has really changed my perspective. And yeah, that's a thing of hope. Oh, something I completely forgot to use is actually a Medicate serum that I was just sent today. It's their C Tetra Advanced 20% vitamin C gel serum. I wish I wouldn't have put on makeup yet, but let's just check out what the consistency looks like, and then you can tell me if you would like me to keep testing it and review it. It doesn't really want to come out, which is okay. Don't be shy. Okay. Oh, it comes out as a sort of liquidy serum, almost a little bit gel-like. It has a little bit of a citrusy scent. I love a vitamin C serum, especially in the summer. I think vitamin C is great to really help to prevent any sun damage. So I'm curious about this, and I'm definitely going to use it. So let me know if you would like me to review it. But let's move on to the next step. So far, my skin is looking very glowy. The primer hasn't really changed that in any way. I feel like it just adjusted to whatever I put on before. So let's move on to the next step. And I feel like something that I've been really itching to try is the Tear Cushion Foundation. And I'm at the same time, I'm a little bit apprehensive and a little bit worried, because I feel like they are quite high coverage. But they sent me quite a few shades here. They sent me 4 shades. And I was like, you know what? Might as well try it. Let's try it as someone who likes very, very natural looking skin, who doesn't like a lot of coverage. Let's try the Tear Cushion Foundation and see if it can provide anything for us, if it can be of service to us who like a very natural look to the skin. But yeah, essentially it comes like this. You then open this little plastic window. Let me do that. And then it has this sort of closure that we can rip open. I want to try to do this on camera so you can get the sound. Maybe there's like a satisfying ASMR moment in it for us. Okay, I'm not really able to open. Let me do it like that. And let's go. Okay, that was so not elegant, but we tried. Okay, this looks darker than I expected. And I'm happy I went for the lightest shade they sent me, because I almost went for the darkest shade, but then I looked at my face and I was like, you know what? I did apply a lot of fake tan for pride, but it has faded, and I am back to my pale self. So let's give this a try. I'm gonna move the mirror and dip right into the product with the sponge. Picked up only the smallest amount, so let's use that in the center of the face. Oh wow. You can immediately see I really picked up the smallest amount of product, but you can immediately see that it goes on quite covering. Oh my god. You saw how little product that was. It just keeps going. Okay, let's try to really spread this out, blend it out. I do have quite a bit of redness in the center of my face, so it might be really helpful for that. But yeah, I'm still not a full coverage queen. I like a natural look, so let's make this look as natural as possible. I will say the finish, it gives a little bit of a, it almost takes down a little bit of the shine that we have going on with the sunscreen, which is great. I wouldn't say it's completely matte or mattifying. I would say it's like a satin finish, something like that. What I will say is that the color match is perfection. I really got it right with this choice, so that's good. And I feel like I want a little bit more around my nose even, and even on my forehead. Maybe this is addictive. Maybe this kind of cancelling out imperfections is addictive. Maybe I'm following down this path now. Oh, I have a bit of redness here on my chin, so let's take care of that as well. I have to say, it looks amazing. I understand people's reactions to it more now because it does give a really beautiful skin-like effect while really covering the skin. So yeah, they're onto something here. They're onto something. Okay, I blended it out and it did a beautiful job. You know what this gives me? This reminds me of a K-pop idol. You know how their skin just looks so flawless and kind of glowy and just perfect, as if they just had a facial. That's kind of the look that this gives my skin, and I'm really not mad at it. It really canceled out any of the redness, but I still have dimension to the face, which is really nice. But speaking of dimension, what I also really wanted to use in this video are these lifter sticks by Maybelline. I don't know if you've seen them around. I've actually been using them for quite a while now. I have the lifter stick in this sort of bronzy contour shade, and I've been loving this. These are an amazing formula, and Maybelline just sent me a whole package, and you have to see this because they literally come out like this. And they sent me they sent me 7 colors, one of them being the one I already love and use. So that one is going to my boyfriend or my sister. Let's see. And then some darker shades. So that's perfect for the summer if I want to go a bit more bronzy, as well as some lighter shades. So yeah, I was thinking to use a different shade today that I have been using. I have been using the shade 35 Bronze. And this is, yeah, I would say like it's not a extremely warm toned bronzer. It's like a contour slash bronzer on me, and I've been using and loving this. The formula is just creamy, it's blendable, it feels very luxurious for a drugstore product. And I'm gonna combine it today with this shade, which is 45, which I expect to be a little bit more of an actual bronzing. Ooh, that looks very nice. So that is the one I want to try today. That is the one that I have been using. So actually, this one has a little bit more almost green to it, and I'm very curious how it will translate. I'm going to add a little bit here, a little bit across the forehead, and it's a very interesting color. It almost has a bit more yellow and green to it, and I think for someone who has a bit of an olive undertone, this might be a very good match. It won't be as much of a contour on me, I believe. It will be a bit more of a bronzy tone, and I'm going to use this brush here from Huda Beauty that I've been really loving to blend it out. And yeah, it's definitely a bit more of a bronzer on me. It's definitely not as much of a contour product on me, but I just love the blend of these. It just melts into the skin so easily, really behaving like a high-end product. This took seconds and it's a completely seamless blend. Also gonna go across the forehead here and blend in the whole thing. You know, it's been really interesting because I've been on YouTube since December now. It's like almost half a year now. And I don't know, it's fascinating. I'm trying out different things, and I don't know if you noticed, if you follow me, I'm trying to find my voice essentially and see what works the best for me, what you love seeing the most, what I like producing the most. I've been trying to do more editing recently, more energetic editing style. Whereas in the beginning, I did less editing. I was more focused on creating a sort of calm atmosphere with my videos, because that's sort of what I love watching on YouTube a lot. Not always. I guess I like watching all sorts of different videos, sometimes more informative and energetic videos, and sometimes more calming videos. So I just love all of it. So that's where the difficulty comes in knowing what to post, and do I even need to stick to one format, or do I just change it up all the time? Sometimes post videos like this that is a bit more relaxing, a bit more of an uncut type feel, and then some videos like the fake tan video that I did recently that is more high energy and has a lot more editing. So I will say that video took a long time because of all the editing. I know when you watch these videos, you just don't think of it. You just don't think of how much work goes into them. But I am impressed with other YouTubers now, even more so because I have experienced now the insane amount of work that it takes to do all this editing. You know, when you add things like sound effects, even just images, that takes a long time because you need to find the images, save the images, or sometimes create the images. You sometimes need to create the B-roll, so you need to film multiple days in a row like I did with the fake tanning video, because I wanted to show the before, the process, and then the afters as well. So yeah, it was a lot of work, and then adding all the sounds, adding all even the fonts, even adding text. You know, it's a really complex process, but it was also a lot of fun, and I'm just trying to figure out, is it worth it putting that much time into it? Or should I stick to less editing? Because I feel like some of the videos that have less editing actually performed really well, and I feel like you really love watching them. So yeah, just trying to find it out. I'm always so happy to hear your feedback, so please let me know what you think. If you like more energetic style, if you like a more calming style, if you like more editing, less editing, you know, overlays and sound effects and images and things. Let me know how you like to watch YouTube and how you like to watch my channel and my videos, because it's very important, of course, because I have an audience. I'm not just doing this for myself, even though I love doing it and it's always been my dream. But yeah, of course, having an audience is very important, and numbers at the end of the day do matter, because I want to make YouTube part of my full-time job. And so unfortunately the numbers and all of that is very important. The business side of things is very important. But yeah, I just used powder, setting powder. I used the Makeup Forever one that I've been using and recommending for ages now. It's just a loose setting powder that's just very easy to use because it has this sort of net mechanism. So I always go back to it, but it's not a new product. It's a product that I just always have sitting on my desk and that I highly recommend. I feel like I still need a bit more contour though. I feel like it did give me really beautiful warmth to the skin and matched my body matched my face to the body more. But I feel like I'm still lacking a bit of definition, especially because after Pride, you know, my face was puffy, and it still is quite puffy from just like going out, you know, drinking, eating, all the food. I mean, I like partying sometimes, but what I really get excited about is food. I just love eating. And you know, a lot of the time I am quite strict with myself in eating healthy, but then sometimes I allow myself to really indulge. And that's what we did after Pride, and I loved it, and I don't regret anything. But yeah, my face does feel still a little bit, you know, puffy. So I just wanna bring in a little bit more definition, and I'm just seeing what I can do that with. Thinking maybe this one. This is a drugstore contour that I really love. You can't get it everywhere, that's the sad part. But I believe at least in Europe you should be able to order it online. It's by the brand Trended Up, and it's by DM, which is an Austrian drugstore here. But also in Germany they're available. and I'm just doing a little bit of a messy contour application here, and then going back in with my trusty Huda Beauty brush and just melting that in just to get a little bit more of that definition, bringing out those, you know, male model features. And you know, there's absolutely no shame in not having chiseled features. There's actually something really beautiful about having softer features. We don't all need to be completely harsh and angular, but yeah, it is definitely something that I often think about in trying to bring back that definition and bring back those cheekbones. You know, I do a lot of microcurrents, and I currently use the, what is it called? I always forget the name. It shouldn't be hard to remember, but it's the Medicube line. I like the Medicube line a lot. I was recently sent a lot of the line, and I've been using their Booster Pro, which I've been loving. But I might make a video about it at one point anyway, because I've been really enjoying it. And I feel like it is a controversial product because of the TikToker that went viral talking about how it gave her facial paralysis. That's quite severe, and I am sad for her. And you know, that's not good. That's not what we want to happen. I personally have been using microcurrent for a long time now, for many years, and I've always loved it. So I have been using it without a problem, but of course, please do your own research on these things. I've watched quite a few videos on it. I saw the statements they made, and I choose to use it anyways. But yeah, you wanna do your own research and proceed at your own risk. I believe, for myself, it's fine. I believe personally that it's too weak to do any damage, long-term damage, but I'm not a doctor, so please don't take my advice. Please do your own research. Okay, I like that a lot better now. I feel like now I have the definition I was looking for, and I feel like we could get away with a little bit of blush now. Or maybe we'll do the eyes first. I feel like I'm in the mood to open this palette, which is by NYX. They sent me this for Pride, but yeah, I haven't used this palette yet, so I'm really curious to use it. There's, of course, especially this one shade that I'm really excited to try. And yes, it's the most basic taupe, but that's the thing that I get excited about. It's a basic taupe because that can really change the facial structure and give you sort of that beautiful contour to the eyes that I love. And my first reaction to this is a very good one because it applies pigmented enough, but not overly pigmented. Let's see. I don't know yet. It might be a bit too cool actually. Maybe it's a little bit too cool toned for my eyes. I might need a little bit more warmth. However, there are a few other sort of brownie shades in there, so I might be able to mix in a little bit of this shade here, which is a little bit warmer and darker, and add it to the shade I already used. It's looking better, but to be honest, I think I slightly over applied. So I'm just gonna use my powder brush and try to blend it in a little bit. On camera, it might look very good, but I feel like in real life, it might just be a little bit too much. So let's see if we can rectify that. And then on my other eye, I will just build it up a bit slower, but I feel like that looks a lot better already. I feel like on the other eye, we should start with the warmer shade first, because I feel like that's what kind of went wrong. It turned a little bit too cool too quick. So let's start with the warmer one. Maybe my skin is a bit more bronzy than I expected at the moment with all this bronzer on. But yeah, I like that better. I liked it quite a bit better already. This is perfect. This is exactly what I like. When it's like a subtle bit of definition to the eye, just bringing a little bit of contour to that inner corner. Whereas here, I made it too cool tone. And that's on me, because when I looked at that palette, this shade looked quite neutral and taupey for me. But actually this one seems to be the better one. I think, well, actually the mixture of the two is the best. But yeah, I think we need to just warm it up on this side and just keep blending and seeing what happens. And I think I saved it. I think it looks really, really good now. And what I learned from this is that when it comes to this palette, I will go for this shade first, even though this is the one that my eye is drawn to. And maybe it's the surrounding colors that sort of change the perception, but yeah, this was a great shade. And then just maybe mixing in a little bit of this taupe shade to create that perfect shadow look on me. But the great thing is that you have sort of these 3 brownie shades and then even this purplish shade on top here. That might also be interesting to mix into the sort of contour shades. And then you should be able to create your custom contour shade, which with the 4 of these. I'm not gonna dip into the colorful shades and the glitters today, you know, that's not really my style at the moment. But I have to say the blues, they do stand out to me, and I feel like maybe at some point I might do a bit of a blue eye. I have not really been wearing colorful eyeshadow in a while, and maybe that will come back at some point. Maybe I'll get excited by eyeshadow again, but at the moment it's all about the contouring and quite blushy looks. I did a really intense sort of sunburnt look at Pride, and I kind of want to create, well, a softer version of that for this video. I used the Buttermilk Blush by NYX in the shade For the Butter, and this was amazing. I think this looked so great. It is an intense color, I will say that. It's not for the faint of heart. By the way, if you see this mess on my wrist here, that's me trying to cover up a fake tanning mistake, which is funny because in my last video, obviously I was sharing all these tips about flawless fake tanning and then I messed up myself. So yeah, happens to the best of us, it's okay. Let's go in with the Butter Blush, and I will warn you, this is pigmented. It's so highly pigmented, so you really, actually, I shouldn't have gone in that hard, but you really want to get rid of some of it on the back of your hand. And you know, we don't need that much. So then we can start building up very slowly on the cheekbone. And you know, I went for a really intense sunburnt look, and so I'm gonna replicate the same. So a sunburnt look, you always want to take the blush really high up where the sun would hit you, and then drag it across the bridge of the nose and then go to the other side. And we build it up slowly, and already I'm loving this shade. It's such a fantastic shade because it almost has a sort of mauvey, browny quality to it, where it just looks like such a realistic sunburn, even though it has pink, because of that mauvey violet undertone and that brown undertone, almost like it's not nude by any stretch of the imagination, but it just has the perfect shade on my skin tone to create that sunburnt look. I'm gonna take, of course, some onto the nose. At Pride, I went heavy-handed, and I also used a blush underneath. Well, not a blush, but a highlighter, which was the Glowgasm by Charlotte Tilbury in the color Peachgasm. I used that quite liberally underneath to really get that glow. Then I layered this on top. And then I actually layered a highlighter on top, also by NYX, the Buttermelt highlighter. And this, I'll also show you, is quite a bronzy shade, but it worked beautifully as a blush topper. And this is the shade Butter in Bronze. We could do a little bit of that on top. The difference between today and Pride was that my face was fully fake tanned. All over I was so tanned. I'm gonna add some photos so you can see the vibe, but today I'm not that tan, so I'm not sure how the highlighter will look. But you know, let's do a little bit. Let's pick it up with the same brush and do a bit of a blush topper. So this is where you want to go very high up on the cheek, where that sort of almost sweaty gleam would be on the cheek, so the highest part. And my goal is still to make this look realistic and quite natural, so I'm gonna have to do something to sort of dim it down a little bit. But you know, the blush naturally fades a little bit into the skin anyway, and we're gonna powder again, so I think it will end up looking really beautiful and natural. I now want to do something about my lips, and I'm so excited because I got a package by Huda Beauty today, and Huda sent me all of these beautiful new lip stains in lots of different shades, and they are called the Lip Contour Stains. And you know, it's kind of hard to decide what shade to go for, but I was thinking to use the shade Soft Nude. and that's the one we're gonna try. So it has this felt tip sort of applicator, literally like a pen, which is so funny. And that will allow us to go in, hopefully quite precisely. I'm gonna start by just creating a bit of a line. So I always overline my lips, and I think being a lip stain, this will really nicely last. And I'm gonna do it like this. The color is great. I feel like I just want to do a little bit of a sort of blend to just soften it a little bit, because I don't like a harsh line. I'm just gonna soften it into lips ever so slightly, and that's perfect. And then I'm also gonna do a line underneath, just following the lip line, but slightly outside of the lip line. And I'm very proud of myself for being able to do this while speaking. But yeah, just rubbing it a little bit, and this really creates the perfect shadow around the lips. This looks so realistic. I am extremely impressed. I'm also gonna do a swab on the back of my hand here, so you can see this is what it comes out. It's just a perfect sort of shadowy nude tone. Let's let it dry for a second and then see if it removes easily, because of course that is interesting, how long it will last. Being a lip stain, I hope it will last a long time. I expect it to last a long time. But let's go in with something else on top. I am curious, well, I've already tried them, but I am still curious about these Tier lip balms. They've sent them to me. Pretty much all of this video, by the way, has been sent to me. These are all really graciously sent to me, which is so exciting. I'm still not over getting PR like this. But yeah, Tier sent me these beautiful lip balms. Look at this packaging. It almost looks like ice cubes, but like frozen to metal or something. It looks so stunning. And they sent me a green version, which is Greeny Apple. So they're called the Mellow Lip Balms. Greeny Apple, and then this is the color Icy Blue. And I've already used the green apple. I mean, you won't really see it on my hand, but it just dims down the intensity of the pigment of the lip a little bit. So if you have really intensely pigmented lips, like really deep pink lips, or some people have more reddish lips or brownish lips, this will just slightly dim them down. And I expect the blue will do the same. So let's use the blue today, because I've not used this yet. And let's see what happens. I expect it to just give a bit of a sort of milkiness to the lip. It almost makes them look a little bit pink, actually, this one. Oh, that's so interesting. It's completely different to the green one. The green one really dims down the redness, whereas this one brings more of a bluish pink feel to lips, which actually is not what I usually prefer. I prefer to just slightly dim down the color of the lips. However, my boyfriend actually prefers when my lips are a little bit more pink. If I use a sort of a color correcting something that's sort of dims down the color, he's like, your lips look a little pale. Whereas that's the look I love. I think he would probably love this sort of blue lip balm on me. And it does look really good. It especially looks really good with the blush, you know, it sort of is linked together. But I want to try a different one. I want to show you the green one, so let's do that one. And you can immediately see the difference. So this really gives more of a sort of mellowing down of the natural lip color. Almost creates like a milky veil, and I really love this. The green one is my favorite, the green apple. But I will still keep trying the icy blue one, because I feel like maybe for date night, I think my boyfriend might really appreciate that one. But they also sent me these beautiful, what are they called? The Waterism Glow Tints. And these are stunning. They come in this gorgeous packaging. They come out like this. So again, they literally look like little ice cubes, but they have this little applicator. They also have this slightly fruity smell, really pleasant though. I think I'm gonna just take down a little bit of the lip balm I applied, so I can also show you the lip glow. By the way, throughout removing this, the lip liner, the Huda Beauty lip liner, is holding up really nicely. It hasn't budged, which is a good sign. Actually, at this point, we can try removing this. and it won't go anywhere. There's nothing coming off, which is great. Okay, these lip liners I'm very excited to keep using. But yeah, let's use the Waterism Glow Tint in Bearable. I'm not sure about the name, but again, by Tier, and this is, oh, really nice. I've actually used these before. They really create like a tinted effect. This one is an interesting color. Again, a little bit more on the pink side. They have shimmer in them. So that's something I want you to be aware of before buying them, because they have shimmer. And that's not for everyone, but it does make the lips look really beautiful, I have to say. I think, however, it's nicer without the lip liner. I think both of it is quite an intense of a look, whereas if you just use one or the other, I think it looks a lot better. So I'm just gonna dim it down a little bit because it's just a bit too much for me with both on my lips. And I'm gonna go back to my green apple lip balm. That's my favorite one. It's just so good because again, it will just slightly take down that redness, but it will really nicely hydrate the lips at the same time. And that's actually the final look. I don't think I need anything in my brows today. I feel like the brows are actually doing all the work they need to do. I think they look fine. But yeah, that's the final look. I think we have found some incredible products. Let's do a little bit of a speed review. First up, the glue primer by NYX, the face glue. This I still have to sort of find my thoughts on. We're just not really doing a wear test today, which would be so important to see if this like prolongs the wear time of the makeup. So yeah, we don't really know about that. The Tier foundation, I will definitely keep testing because I've been really impressed how it made my skin look. I think my skin looks incredible. It literally gave it that idol, like K-pop idol skin look. And I think for special occasions, for nights out, for photography, for filming, I think this is great to have. And almost use it like a concealer. I don't think I will use this as a full-on foundation all over, but in those little areas here in the center of the face, it really beautifully masked all the redness and really erased all the texture in the skin. So I'm really impressed with the Tier foundation and I'm gonna keep using and trying it. Then we have, of course, the Tier Milk Skin Toner that I will absolutely keep using because I've been really enjoying the consistency and how it hydrates my skin super lightly, especially great in, you know, the summertime or in high heat. It's a great product. Then we have the sunscreen. The sunscreen is very glowy. I will say that. I think stay away if you have oily skin, but if you have dry skin, the Beauty of Joseon Ginseng Sunscreen Serum is gorgeous. And I will absolutely keep using it, but maybe not on the days when I'm filming because when I'm in front of a camera, I like to be more mattified. Then we have the contours, the lifter sticks. I recommend these. I think you should get yourself to a drugstore and see if you can find a color that speaks to you. The formula is just so great. And even the packaging feels really nice. I really enjoy the lifter sticks. I think Maybelline did a great job with them. Then we have the lip liners, of course, the Huda Beauty Lip Contouring Stain. I'm so impressed with this. I think this is gonna be one of my most used products throughout the summer because who doesn't like a lip stain that looks natural? Really impressed with this. The Tier products for the lips. I'm of course most impressed with the Water Lip Balm in the green apple shade because it just takes down the redness in the lips so beautifully. It's a very subtle product, but really hydrating on the lips. The blue version leans a little bit too pink. I see, for me personally, I just like my lips to look natural personally, but it really depends on your skin tone. And if your lips are naturally pink and you like to bring out those pink tones, then I think it might be beautiful for you. And then the Buttermelt Blush by NYX in the shade For the Butter. I'm obsessed with this. I just think it made me look so healthy, so sun-kissed. It has that sort of cool, violet-y undertone. It applies really easily, blends out beautifully. However, please be careful, use a very small amount, but as long as you do that, it will apply beautifully. And that's pretty much it. I really enjoyed pretty much all of these products. I would love to know your opinions and also what else you would like me to test out. Say hi in the comments because it really helps the algorithm push my videos, and that way I can produce more and more and just remain consistent, remain on this platform and really live my dream of being a YouTuber. And I'll see you in the next one. Bisous bisous, yours truly.